Welcome to this basic barista course on Udemy. Course overview. In this course, we will go through every single thing you might know as a beginner. We will cover all major topics, like the job responsibilities of a barista, making drinks, the equipment to use, handling orders, and many other important things. This course is intended primarily for beginners, so no prior knowledge is required. What is barista? A barista is someone who makes and serves espresso-based coffee drinks. Although the term barista generally refers to someone who has received professional training in the preparation of espresso, it can also refer to anyone who has a high level of expertise in making espresso shots and espresso drinks, such as lattes and cappuccinos. Barista basic job roles? As customers enter, greet them. Provide drink menus to consumers and answer their queries about ingredients. Accept orders while paying attention to the small details, for example, preferences for coffee blends, dairy, and sugar ratios. Make the beverages according to the recipes. Offer beverages as well as prepared goods such as cookies, pastries, and muffins. Receive and process payments, cash and credit cards. Keep the room hygienic. Have a supply of clean mugs and plates on hand. Inspect to determine sure the brewing equipments are working properly, and report any maintenance requirements. Follow all health and safety laws. Convey customer comments to manager, and make suggestions for new menu items. Topics to be covered. Basics. Grind adjustments. Dose settings. Temperature brewing. Brew ratios. Weighing espressos. Inner work of espresso equipments. Latte art. Alternative brewing methods. Handling large drinks orders. And some other small but vital information will also be shared. Welcome to this basic barista course on Udemy. Course overview. In this course, we will go through every single thing you might know as a beginner. We will cover all major topics, like the job responsibilities of a barista, making drinks, the equipment to use, handling orders, and many other important things. This course is intended primarily for beginners, so in this lecture we will discuss some basic topics. Basics. Topic 1. Coffee beans. There are many types of coffee beans. The main two types most widely used are Arabica and Robusta. Arabica is the most consumed coffee in the world. It accounts for over 60% of the world's coffee production. Main features: smooth taste, less caffeine, expensive, long beans. Robusta is the second most consumed coffee after Arabica. Main features: bitter taste, more caffeine, small round beans. Note, there are also mixes available on the market, such as coffees with compositions such as 80% Arabica, with 20% Robusta, 60% Arabica, with 40% Robusta, 50% Arabica, with 50% Robusta. Basics. Topic number 2, coffee roasts. The majority of roasters have unique names for their favorite roasts, and there is minimal industry standardization. This can be confusing while shopping, but roasts generally fall into one of 4 color categories: light, medium, medium dark, dark. Tip: while many consumers believe that darker roasts have a stronger, richer flavor, the truth is that light roasts are actually slightly stronger. Within the 4 color categories, you are likely to find the following common roasts. Light roasts. This light brown roast is normally used for softer coffee varieties. Because the beans are not roasted long enough for the oils to penetrate to the surface, there will be no oil on the surface. Examples: light city, half city, cinnamon. Medium roasts. This roast has a medium brown color, a strong flavor, and a non-oily surface. It is commonly known as the American roast because it is popular in the United States. Examples: city, American, breakfast. Medium dark roasts. This roast is rich and dark in color, with some oil on the surface and a slightly bittersweet aftertaste. Example: full city. Dark roasts. This roast produces glossy black beans with an oily surface and a strong bitterness. The darker the roast, the lower the acidity in the coffee beverage. Darkly roasted coffees range from somewhat dark to burnt. Examples: high, continental, New Orleans. Basics. Topic number 3. Barista equipments. We will cover all parts and tools in the future, but for now, let's talk about the essential tools every barista should be familiar with. Espresso. The espresso machine is the main piece of equipment in a coffee shop. Its job is to brew espresso. Espresso machines can be manual, semi-automatic, or super-automatic. Grinders. Grinders are basically used to grind coffee beans to suitable sizes for brewing. There are 2 types of grinders: doser and doserless grinders. Tamper. It is used to press the roasted coffee beans evenly into a portafilter. Shot glasses. Shot glasses are clear glasses to observe the color of your coffee. Today we will discuss the topic of coffee grinding, so let's get started. Grinding coffee grounds is one of a barista's main responsibilities. But why grind? Grinding coffee beans increases the surface area coming into contact with water. To prepare a cup of coffee, coffee beans are ground so that the flavor can be extracted from the bean and water. Why is a fresh grind considered necessary? The freshness, size, and quality of the grind have a significant effect on how a coffee will taste. Coffee beans lose some of their flavor as soon as they are ground, because the coffee granules are exposed to the air. Also, freshly ground coffee has a delightful aroma. Equipment required for coffee grinding. 1. An espresso machine that has a stock double basket with no restrictions. 2. An espresso grinder. 3. A scale that reads 0.1 grams. A good coffee grinder should meet the following requirements. 1. The grinder should generate as little heat as possible while grinding. 2. The coffee should be ground evenly by the grinder. 3. Fines should be produced in small quantities. 4. The particle sizes produced by the coffee grinder must provide sufficient flow resistance. Basic and common steps to using a coffee grinder. 1. Place the beans in a grinder. 2. Choose the suitable grind size. 3. Begin grinding. 4. Turn off the grinder, do not overgrind. Coffee grind tips. 1. Check the fineness of the coffee by grinding coffee into the dose after the grinding settings have been changed. 2. If the coffee is leaving the machine too slowly, that means the coffee is too fine. 3. If coffee is leaving the machine too quickly, that means the coffee is too coarse. 4. Measure the beans accurately, keep a note on the age of the beans, and don't forget to clean the grinder regularly. Grinder cleaning. Step 1. Grind out any excess coffee after sealing the coffee container. 2. Turn the power off. 3. Remove the coffee bean container. Remove the coffee from the container. 4. The blades should be plunged into a manual dosing grinder. 5. A vacuum can be used on the exposed grill on an auto dosing grinder. 6. Wash the coffee bean container and dry thoroughly. 7. Use a damp cloth to wipe the dosing chamber. Stay tuned, I will see you in the next lecture. Today we will discuss the topic dose setting, so let's get started. Dose setting. When it comes to taste, the dose setting is crucial, since it determines how the coffee will ultimately taste. The topic of dose setting will be covered in 2 parts. In the first section, we will learn how to initially set our grind range and coffee doses. And in the second segment, we'll discover how to analyze the shot's flavor, so that we can adjust the taste balance to our tastes. Grinder's initial setting. Adjust your grinder so that the grinds feel very fine and only slightly coarser than powder when you pinch them. Load your stock double basket with 12 grams of coffee. Once you get a shot that weighs 20 to 25 grams in 30 seconds, tweak the grind. To determine the shot's timing, add 50% to the dwell time, which is the interval between turning on the pump and observing the first drop. This is the finest grind setting for light roasts, extremely acidic coffees, or other coffees with strong flavors. Use a dose of 16 grams and a coarser grind to repeat the process. Your coarsest grind setting, which should be used for really bland tasting coffees, will be the one that produces 20 to 25 grams in 30 seconds as previously. This calibration may not be accurate on all machines, but it's a good place to start. After you feel comfortable performing the tasting and making the dose changes outlined below, don't be afraid to make changes. Is the flavor of your shot balanced? Are the amounts of sweetness, acidity, and roasted flavors balanced? If the shot's balance is good, but the flavors don't appeal to you, you should switch coffees. By adjusting the dose and grind, you can repair the shot if the flavors are good but the balance is off, making it taste too bland, overpowering, sour, or bitter. How to adjust the grind and dose to set things right for most coffees. If the coffee tastes bland, the caramels and sugars are masking the flavors. Increase the dose and coarsen the grind to keep the flow the same. This will decrease the amount of sugars, while maintaining the same acid-bitter balance. If the coffee tastes aggressive, you need more caramel and sugar and fewer flavors. Decrease the dose, and make the grind finer to keep the flow the same. This will result in an increase in the quantity of sugars while maintaining the same acid-bitter balance. If the coffee has too much acidity, such as from lemon, citrus, apple, or wine, reduce the flow rate while maintaining the dose. Create a shot with a ristretto flow. As a result, the acidity will become less bitter. If the coffee is too bitter, with too much bright bitter flavor in lighter roasts, like toast, wood, or lemon peel, or dark bitter flavor in darker roasts, like blackcurrant, clove, tobacco, smoky pine sap, or peat, keep the dose the same and make the grind coarser. Make a faster flowing, more lunging shot. This will increase the acidity relative to the bitterness. stopping the shot by timing, flow, color, or weight. Although timing your shots is advised for beginners, it is not the ideal technique. Depending on your preferences, choose between the two best practices. As the flow turns extremely pale, translucent, and nearly transparent, you can stop shooting. The extraction is finished at this point, continuing would only be a dilution. You can stop the shot to brew ratio by, weigh the shot as it is made until it hits the target brew ratio, of coffee weight to shot weight. Choose the brew ratio according on the roaster's advice, or by tasting the degree of extraction, or how strong or delicate the tastes feel. Increase the brew ratio if the coffee is over-extracted, decrease it if it is under-extracted. Since the weight of the coffee and the water are equal, adding more water will lower the brew ratio, and increase extraction, while adding less water will increase the brew ratio and decrease extraction. What you must do is as follows. You must weigh doses to the nearest 0.1 grams, on a scale with a resolution of 0.1 grams. It is simpler to weigh the basket separately, on many scales after removing the portafilter from it. It is helpful to time shots and weigh them, as they are being pulled when you are first starting out. A lungo weighs around 50 grams, and runs for about 20 seconds, a ristretto is about 20 grams, and a standard double is about 35 grams, and lasts for about 27 seconds. Be patient. Hello and welcome to Lecture 5 of this basic barista course. Today we will discuss the topic of temperature brewing, where we will discuss the brewing process, and the role of temperature in the brewing process, so let's get started. What exactly does brewing coffee mean? Brewing coffee is the process of extracting the soluble material from roasted and ground coffee. As this coffee is brewed in hot water, hundreds of unique compounds are extracted from the ground beans, creating brewed coffee. Effects of temperature in brewing. The brew temperature is widely mentioned as one of the most important factors influencing the final coffee quality, with a temperature of about 93 degrees Celsius being considered ideal. A minimum brew temperature of 92 degrees Celsius must be reached within a certain amount of time for drip brewers to pass certification. Factors affecting quality. The type of coffee bean used in the brewing process will affect the quality and flavor of the coffee. The following are factors to consider in the selection of coffee flavors. The texture of the grind. The type of roast. The variety of bean. The country and region of origin. Brewing procedure. As the brewing temperature rises, coffee extraction should increase. Brewing is essentially the process of thermal degradation, as heat breaks down compounds. Coffee is brewed with hot water, with the ideal range being between 190 and 205 degrees. Brewing at room temperature. It takes more time to brew coffee at room temperature. To maximize the ability to extract solubles from the coffee grinds, the brew period should be extended to 8 hours. Coffee brewed hot or cold typically has a different chemical makeup. Recommended brewing temperature. The standard recommended temperature range for AeroPress contest recipes is about between 175 and 180 degrees. Coffee that has been brewed at about 180 degrees usually has a smooth and pleasant flavor. Brewing temperatures to avoid. The 200-degree brew usually results in a bitter taste. Today we will discuss the topic of brew ratios, where we will discuss the effects of brew ratios and some common brew ratios, so let's get started. What exactly are brew ratios? This is basically the ratio between the coffee and water in one shot. Why are brew ratios considered necessary? The brew ratio influences the coffee's strength, flavor, and mouthfeel and can drastically change the drink you end up with. Fixed measurements also help us achieve the same flavor and temperature over time. Measuring instruments. The most used measurement Devic for adjusting coffee weight is a scoop. The brewing ratio works more effectively when the water is weighed. For example, 1 gram of coffee per 10 grams of water means the ratio is 1:10, and in the same way, 1 gram of coffee per 20 grams of water means the ratio is 1:20. Tip. The entire flavor of the coffee is impacted by the brew ratio. Under-extracted coffee will result in a sour taste that is often overpowered by the bitter flavors. Coffee that has been over-extracted will taste extremely bitter and sour. Ratio, approximately 1:10, will taste strong, while 1:20 will taste weak and faded. The quantity of total dissolved solids, TDS, in the coffee will have a tremendous effect on the flavor. Typically, coffee with a high coffee content, TDS, will have a strong flavor. Water is measured in grams rather than millimeters, for the coffee brewing ratio. Using language from the Italian naming for espresso. Ristretto espresso is a ratio of 1:1, to 1:2. A normal espresso is between 1:2, and 1:3. A lungo espresso is a 1:3 to 1:4 ratio. Here, there is opportunity for interpretation. For comparison, the ratio for a cup of drip coffee from a coffee maker is about 1:15. Try pulling the same coffee as a 1:1, 1:2, and 1:3 to demonstrate the impact of brew ratio on an espresso. See how, or if, the mouthfeel, clarity, and any notes you can detect effect from ratio to ratio. The golden ratio. The golden ratio is the term that refers to the perfect balance of coffee and water in the brewing of coffee. The golden ratio varies depending on the preference of the barista. Approximately, the golden ratio is around 10 grams, 1 or 2 scoops, of coffee per 180 milliliters of water. Stay tuned. Today we will discuss a very small topic: weighing espresso, so let's get started. An espresso recipe captures and communicates the 3 main variables of espresso brewing, which are dose, the weight of dry ground coffee in the portafilter; yield, the weight of espresso made; time, the contact time between coffee and water. Dosing stage. The quantity or the dose of coffee needs to be decided on, and it needs to be a dose that can be easily repeated. The following options are available in the dosing stage. Choose to use a quality grinder. Pre and post grinding. Weigh the coffee. Weigh for muscle memory. Dry dose. Dry dose refers to how many grams of ground coffee is going to be put into the portafilter's basket. The following factors need to be synchronized: coarseness of grind, time taken to pull the shot. Tip: a volumetric coffee machine provides consistent results for quality espressos. It contains flow meters that push a set volume of water through the espresso puck so that the provided dose is consistent. The resulting shot will have the same volume every time. Stay tuned. Today we will discuss the topic: inner workings of espresso equipment, where we will discuss the espresso machine and the role of individual parts of an espresso machine. So let's get started. There are 3 main types of espresso machines: semi-automatic, automatic, and super-automatic. In basic terms, an espresso machine works by using steam, pistons, or pumps to force hot water through puck of coffee beans. Semi-automatic machines follow the most basic pump-driven models. These use an electric pump, rather than manual force, to push the water. The brewer is responsible for crushing and grinding the coffee, as well as choosing how much water to add to the machine and how long to let it brew. Automatic. Espresso machines that are fully automatic differ from semi-automatic machines in that the volume and brew time are also automated. A flowmeter is added to the group head, which is the shower nozzle mechanism the espresso goes through on its route to your cup, to provide this level of automation. The flowmeter signals the pump to stop running after it determines that the desired amount of water has flowed through. Super-automatic espresso machine takes automation to the next level by incorporating elements that automatically grind and tamp down the coffee beans before extracting your perfectly measured shot of espresso. Some super-automatic models can also froth and dispense milk automatically for more complex beverages, such as lattes and cappuccinos. When using a super-automatic machine, your only responsibility as the brewer is to load the beans into the grinder and occasionally empty the compartment containing the used-up grounds. What are the different roles of the parts in an espresso machine? We will look at the various functions and parts, step by step, to get a better idea of how an espresso machine works. The main components are listed below. The water source, the pump, the boiler, the steam wand or steam chamber, the group head. The water source. Water source is an essential component of espresso working. Some machines have water chambers that must be manually filled each time you brew espresso, whereas others can connect directly to your home or business's plumbing system via a water line. The pump. Pump is responsible for supplying water throughout the espresso machine. There are 2 types of vane pumps, vibratory and rotary. Boiler. To heat the water and steam to the required temperatures, a boiler is required. Pump machines use an electric heating element as part of their boiler systems, as opposed to simple stovetop machines that can be placed directly on top of your burner. The steam wand or steam chamber. Commercial and home espresso machines frequently include a steam wand, which allows the user to create the heated, textured milk used in drinks like lattes, flat whites, and cappuccinos. The group head. The final element of how an espresso machine works is the group head, a collection of nozzles and valves that the water passes through on its way to becoming espresso. Any group head design has 4 major components. The portafilter. The location where the portafilter is locked in. The area for turning on the pump. A pipe that transports water from the boiler to the portafilter. Points to remember. A barista must set up the shots correctly, then push the programmed button to begin. Extraction process. Careful watch is still required to ensure the program is running correctly and stops extracting at the correct amount of time. All espresso machines must produce 130 pounds of pressure and be able to reach between 192 and 203 degrees. Burr grinders shave coffee beans into precise microscopic flakes. Today we will discuss the fascinating topic of latte art. So let's get started. Latte art is a method of preparing a latte, in which the steamed milk forms a design on the latte's surface. A prepared latte art results in a pattern or design on the latte's surface. In some cases, the latte art can be created by simply drawing on the top layer of foam. It's a complex skill to master, due to the demanding conditions of both espresso and milk. Some points to remember. Latte art is limited by the experience of the barista and the quality of the espresso machine. Cappuccino is a drink, of any size with a shallow cap, of soft foam on top. A drink with a hard foam cap is called ruined. What do you need to make latte art? Espresso machine with steaming wand. To get the perfect amount of steamed milk microfoam, you'll need a mid to high quality espresso machine. Metal pitcher with temperature sticker. Use a metal pitcher and chill it beforehand, which helps because the colder the milk, the longer time you have to steam it. 6-ounce mug. It's easiest to make latte art when you have a mug that's the final size of the drink. This allows you to add just the right amount. Importance of microfoam. Great latte art is made with microfoam, which is difficult to achieve. You're looking for an almost wet paint-like texture. Also called velvet milk, it's shiny and has very tiny, uniform bubbles. It's silky smooth and has a sweet, almost nutty flavor that makes just the right espresso drink. It's impossible to make latte art if you can't get the right texture and amount of bubbles. It can take months to perfect your touch with your espresso machine and equipment. Let's discuss about what can be the best milk to steam. To create perfect latte art, you must start with the right raw material. Whole milk produces the most beautiful latte art. You can try oat milk to avoid dairy, but it's not the same. Make use of whole milk. Because it contains the most milk fat, whole milk produces the best microfoam. Important, make sure the milk is as fresh as possible. Milk that is nearing its expiration date does not foam as well. Some points to remember. Oat milk is a dairy-free alternative. Although oat milk froths better than any other non-dairy milk, it does not produce the same quality latte art as full-fat whole milk. Allow the milk to reach 37 degrees Celsius before inserting the steam wand. The milk should be spun slightly counterclockwise. Maintain the motion until the milk reaches a temperature of 65 degrees Celsius to 68 degrees Celsius. Creating the foam. Refrigerate milk for around 30 minutes. Before pouring into the steam pitcher, use a liquid thermometer, or to ensure the milk is at the proper temperature. Place the steam wand in the pitcher's bottom. Turn on the steam and raise the wand slowly, towards the tip of the milk. Pouring the latte foam. Turn the cup's handle to the left, and if the saucer has lettering, turn it away. The setup should be oriented towards the person being served. Let the frothed milk sit for 10 to 20 seconds. Tilt the cup towards yourself until it is nearly empty. The greater the tilt, the faster the milk will mark the surface. Pour the milk slowly, from the bottom end until a cloud of white steam appears. Pour the milk into the center, and oscillate it side to side, to make a heart print on the foam. Pouring a rosette print. Pour milk to the far end of the cup, then zigzag it back. Pour with a light stroke, away from the far end of the cup. As you pour the milk, make sure the cup has a smooth top so that nothing spills. It requires consistent practice, and can take several months to perfect. Barista course. Today we will discuss about some alternative brewing methods. So let's get started. We've about brewing with an espresso machine, but there are many other methods. We'll go over some important and popular alternatives to brewing that you should be familiar with. We will discuss the following brewing methods today. French press brewing. Mocha pot. Cold brewing. AeroPress. As we know, in brewing coffee, hot water acts as a solvent, washing soluble solids out of the coffee grinds and into the brew. This soluble solid contains oils, which carry extract and flavor into the cup of coffee. Brew methods that use paper filters only have soluble solids in the cup, but some brew methods allow insoluble solids to enter the brew, like the French press, espresso, or Turkish coffee. French press brewing. The French press method of brewing is one of the simplest. The following elements are required for French press brewing. French press. 20 grams of ground coffee. 240 milliliters of water at 94 degrees Celsius. Scales. The following are the steps to follow for a French press to brew coffee. Add 20 grams of coffee. Pour 40 milliliters of hot water. Stir it 10 times and leave it for 30 seconds. Pour the remaining water. Add the lid and leave for 3 minutes. Stir a few times until the grinds fall to the bottom. Then, Very slowly, plunge over 1 minute. Serve straight into cups, to avoid over-extracting. Mocha pot brewing. A mocha pot is a brewing device that creates a strong coffee concentrate. Coffee is created from a combination of steam pressure and an external heat source, which pushes water through coffee grinds. A boiler, filter basket, and collection chamber are the three major parts of a mocha pot. The following elements are required for French press brewing. Mocha pot. 12 grams coffee. 100 milliliters water at 30 to 40 degrees Celsius. Scale. The following are the steps to brewing coffee in a mocha pot. Fill the lower chamber of your mocha pot with 100 milliliters of warm water. Insert the filter basket into the lower chamber. Fill the filter basket with 12 grams of coffee. Connect the upper and lower chambers with screws. Cook on medium heat until you hear a gurgling sound or see the water finish bubbling through. Pour into your cup right away. Cold brew. A cold brew involves the steeping of coffee grounds at room temperature or in cold water, which takes about 12 to 24 hours on average, and results in a richer and smoother taste than that of a hot brew of coffee. The following elements are required for cold brewing. Vessel. Cling wrap. Filter. 100 grams coffee and cold brew grind. 1 liter of filtered water, at room temperature. Scale. The steps for cold brewing are as follows. Place your coffee grinds into your vessel. Pour in half the quantity of water and stir. Pour in the remaining water, and stir once more. Leave at room temperature with a lid or wrap. After 16 hours, strain through a filter. Refrigerate. AeroPress. It is a manual coffee maker that uses pressure to brew a cup. The AeroPress is very handy and portable, and the final product is similar to espresso. You'll need the following to use the AeroPress method for brewing. AeroPress. AeroPress filter. 17 grams of coffee. 230 milliliters of water at 90 degrees Celsius. Scales. AeroPress brewing involves the following steps. Add 17 grams of coffee. Add 80 milliliters of 90 degrees Celsius water. Stir a few times to wet all the grinds, and leave for 20 seconds. Add the remaining water and vacuum seal the AeroPress. After 90 seconds, press down evenly and gradually, for 30 to 50 seconds, until you hear a hissing sound. Today we will discuss about management and safety. So let's get started. Handling large drink orders. While working as a barista, in some situations you may end up with large drink orders that seem very hard to fulfill, but if you take care of your management, you can easily achieve the target. Today, we will discuss some basic things you should keep in mind so that you can easily tackle trick situations comfortably. Teamwork is very important and vital to have. It is important to have a productive team to quickly and efficiently produce drink orders. Let's discuss the basic workflow of a barista. Greeting customers. Taking beverage orders. Taking payment. Foaming of the milk. Coffee grinding, brewing, and latte art. Cleaning and maintaining equipment. Serving the beverages. Keep the following health and safety considerations in mind. On modern espresso machines, automatic mechanisms provide an adequate level of safety. Avoid the temptation to rush a drink order, as this will only increase the likelihood of an accident. Baristas are prone to repetitive stress injuries, so stretching on a regular basis is advised. Handle hot liquids with caution, as the high temperature of the liquids has the potential to cause serious burns. Always keep the floor and surface areas clean and tidy. Notify colleagues of any spills or accidents that cannot be handled immediately. Wear protective footwear that is waterproof, covers the entire foot, and has a good grip. Points to consider when working with the espresso machine. Keep track of the location of the main electrical switch and water connections. Be cautious when near hot surfaces. Fill the milk pitcher only halfway. Be cautious of the steam. As soon as possible, remove your hand from the steam handles. Congratulations to everyone who followed this course until now. I hope you understand the course well. Greetings on your sweet journey in the coffee line. Leave your valuable feedback if you think we should make a more advanced course with deep analysis and better understanding through videos and animations, as well as a course that can provide certification. Please leave your feedback, and we will be very happy to work to make our best effort in the Barista Advanced course. We see you soon.